Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I rise tonight to speak on probably the most important issue for Lyne residents, certainly the one that is raised with me every day, and that is the state of roads right across the Lyne electorate. When I'm at mobile offices, it is always an issue that comes up, and that was before we faced those terrible catastrophic floods in May this year. The roads across the Lyne electorate were already in a pretty bad condition, but the floodwaters have made those roads significantly worse. And it is a real challenge for all of my constituents to deal with the roads in the condition that they are. MidCoast Council certainly copped the most impact from the floods, and they have recently completed an impact assessment on the event. And if I can read from this very detailed document just about the damage to the transport network in the MidCoast Council area, which is certainly the largest LGA in the Lyne electorate. The Pacific Highway, the region's major logistics route, was flooded and closed for 5 days. 2,985 new road defects have been identified, with a further 376 existing issues worsened. 450+ bridges affected and undergoing engineering assessments. 2 bridges require full replacement at an estimated cost of $60 million, and 7 additional bridges require major repairs. There have been 23 landslips, each estimated to cost $3 to $5 million to repair. $258 million required for immediate transport infrastructure repairs, and $265 million estimated for resilience and betterment works to prevent future disaster-related damage. Now, I have seen both the 2 bridges that have been completely destroyed, the Bight and Tyro bridges. It is unbelievable to see structures, particularly the Bight Bridge, which was a significant bridge structure, left in pieces. Pieces of it washed down the river, taking out the amenities block at Wingham Brush, and basically it has divided the town. And from the same report, just some of the impacts that have been noted. Students are needing to change schools as a result of the bridge being destroyed. This impacts on the social connectedness of students and also impacts on enrolment numbers, both positively and negatively for impacted schools, where subjects may be offered and teachers may not be required. The dairy truck collecting milk every second day has to go via Gloucester Road from Dolly's Flat to collect milk on the other side of the Manning River, impacting on transport timeframes by over 30 minutes. Postage delivery has been reduced to 2 days per week for those on Tanoni Road to collect mail that is not delivered from the postage office in Wingham. The travel time is 40 minutes each way. The school bus drop-off and pick-up times have also been impacted. Tanoni Public School to Wingham typical times are provided via Bright Bridge 12 minutes, via Gloucester Road 24 minutes, via Taree 24 to 30 minutes. So the impacts of the damage are very, very significant. And when you talk to constituents, you just feel the challenges that they're facing and the concern they have that funding is not flowing. Funding is not flowing to the council and to other councils across the Lyne electorate to fix the problem. The conversations that I'm aware of that councils are having are certainly not delivering the funds that they need, and certainly the issue around the betterment funding is a major one. And so far the New South Wales government, to my knowledge, have not responded in a positive fashion. But further afield from the MidCoast Council, I just want to highlight a very recent case study of the impact of what's happening on the roads. a constituent of mine, his son recently had a head-on collision. I'm just reading the text message he sent me. Jack had a head-on. The other car was on his side of the road between Clarencetown and Seaham, a touch before 7 a.m. on his way to work at Phoenix Park. He somehow dodged being killed with the airbags in the Pride and Joy 20-year-old Jeep deploying, breaking his nose. It crumbled beautifully, and if you look closely, it looks like it's bent around the long axis. Ambo's cut his Angels T-shirt off, which he didn't appreciate. We could have had one less voter, National Party voter, because of this accident. Now, the reason the car veered was a huge pothole. A huge pothole almost caused an accident, killing a young man in his prime. And frankly, I hear these stories all the time of people having to dodge effectively the size of craters. A small car can fall down them. And it's a huge issue across the electorate, north to south. You know, other examples on Harrington Road, a road that I drive quite often. Again, significant damage from the floods. That already the pavement was deteriorating. Stroud Hill Road, road I travel when I go to Dungog, one I did actually only on Saturday this week. There are more and more signs that council's having to put up to say potholes ahead. And yet, you know, these are roads that you could normally drive 80 kilometres. You're slowing down to 30 kilometres an hour to ensure that you're not doing damage to your vehicle. And also the Lakes Way. Now, this is a major road. Anyone that might have I know some members, holiday in the wonderful electorate of Lyne, and particularly those in Sydney often travel up to Foster and Pacific Palms and that area. They'll turn off the highway onto the Lakes Way. Indeed, that is now a shocking road. And it's a local road. It used to once be the Pacific Highway, but it's now under the management of MidCoast Council. And indeed, one of my staff members who lives and has to out that way, has to travel on the Lakes Way, actually even sent me an email as her local member to let me know what the challenges are. She says, driving home on the Lakes Way, a typically 100-kilometre-an-hour highway, cars had to slow to 30 kilometres an hour for prolonged periods due to severe potholes and road damage. The surface is so bad that the safest option is often to drive on the wrong side of the road or hanging partly off the road to avoid car damage. Now, my state colleague, the member for Mile Lakes, has recently called for the New South Wales Minns government to take action and declare the Lakes Way a state road, and I fully support that call. This is a significant piece of infrastructure that is beyond the means of MidCoast Council, a council that has a road network, and I think some of the city members in this place might be interested to understand the extent of the road networks that councils have to deal with in regional and rural areas. It's 3,643 kilometres of roads and 667 bridges. And for a rate base for MidCoast Council, it is frankly beyond them to continue to maintain the roads to the standard that the community rightly accepts. Now, there's a lot of anger in the community about the state of our roads. Rates keep rising, but roads keep getting worse. And, you know, it's not just MidCoast Council. Dungog Shire Council has in excess of 70 kilometres. Now, this is a very small council area with a very significant concessional rate base, and they struggle to be able to continue to maintain their roads. Now, these councils are raising the issue of the financial assistance grants, the grants that are provided to local governments through the New South Wales Grants Commission. And it's become clear that the financial assistance grants are no longer fit for purpose. They no longer serve the interests, particularly of regional councils. I understand from particularly Dungog, who I've had a number of conversations with, that there are councils in this country that receive more money from their parking meters than they do from than the entire budget of Dungog Shire Council. Yet these councils get significantly more from financial assistance grants. It just simply isn't fair. The grant system is no longer fit for purpose and needs to be overhauled. Can I just move on in the time that I have remaining? And I could talk about all of the problems on roads for a much longer period, but I do want to raise the Pacific Highway. The Pacific Highway and the duplication of the Pacific Highway was a great achievement of the coalition in the Howard government era. It came in response to some terrible bus crashes at Kempsey and Grafton, and I did in my first speech acknowledge the work of the former member for Lyne, the Honourable Mark Vaile, in the work that he did to get that duplication started. But 1996, when the work was done, there was an urgency to get the duplication completed. And so the decision was taken at the time to do the 4-laning and come back and do the integrated overpasses. But in the passage of time, unfortunately, the work to come back and do the overpasses by successive governments have been overlooked. It was an issue that the former member for Lyne, the Honourable Dr David Gillespie, raised in this place, and I intend to do the same because, again, this goes to the safety of residents across the Lyne electorate and to visitors to the Lyne electorate. Now, I was very pleased during the federal election that there was one election commitment that I made that was supported by those on the other side, and that goes to planning and design work for an integrated overpass at Medowie Road and at the Buckets Way with a service road to Italia Road. Again, the Buckets Way itself is a major issue with significant need for repair, but these intersections are very dangerous. We've got fast-moving traffic and a lot of load coming onto it from the catchment areas. A lot of school children now are going to Medowie private schools, the Catholic schools, and they're coming out of areas in my electorate. And so these two overpasses are dangerous. People say to me quite often that they hope that we do not need one more death on the Pacific Highway at these interchanges for work to be done. And so I was very pleased that there was one commitment that was supported by the other side, and I followed up with the minister, and I'm very grateful to the Minister for Infrastructure for her drop-in sessions. And the very first one she held after I was elected, I went to see her and spoke to her about the timetable for the work here at Medowie Road, Buckets Way and Italia Road. And I understand, and I'm very grateful and acknowledge that the Commonwealth has provisioned the funding, but we're waiting confirmation on delivery timeframes from the New South Wales Government. And I hope those timeframes will be expedited. But there are a number of other intersections that need to be dealt with: the Mile Way, the Lakes Way, Falford Road, and two more in particular, the Harrington-Coopernook interchange. In 2021, under a coalition government, we committed $48 million to get this interchange completed. What's been done? Nothing. Nothing has been done. And I can tell you the anger in the community in Harrington is extreme. There's been two ramps there for over 20 years, and yet there's been no work done despite the fact that the money is there. There's also the Houston-Mitchell Drive interchange. This is the most dangerous intersection on the Pacific Highway that should be a priority for an interchange, but no commitment from the other side for funding. Can I finish with this point on the Pacific Highway? Under the coalition government, our commitment to funding work on the highway was 80% Commonwealth, 20% New South Wales Government. But under the Albanese government, it's now 50-50. The Albanese government has slashed funding for work on the Pacific Highway. This is putting people's lives in danger, and I will continue for every moment that I have a breath in this parliament to raise the issue because it is of such significance to the people of the Lyne electorate.
Authorised by Alison Penfold, The Nationals, Taree.